My name is Jimmy O'Brien, and Buster Olney is mad at me. He has been calling me out for 11 days. So I guess let's talk about why Buster Olney's mad at me. Look at it. It started on September 5th. I was in Barbados winning a cricket match on a team full of Americans, making history on the beautiful sands of paradise when I got a text that said, Buster's mad at you. He said, we call out some Jomboy BS. And then the next day, day 2 of waiting for Jomboy to own his crap. So it just kept going, and someone responded, got deleted, but he said, I don't know about that, but I do know he is dead wrong about this. So he's been coming at me for a while. We're up to day 11 of waiting for Jomboy to be accountable. My good friend Joe's McFly said, this has got to stop. Joe's McFly was on the sands in Barbados. He was our coach, coaching us to a victory in cricket. And Buster responded, easy. He can just own the fact that in this case, he didn't know what he was talking about, and that suggesting the information was made up without actually talking to anyone was wrong. Accountability. So that's what's happening. Now, here's what happened, okay? There was a story about Aroldis Chapman that came out. Now, I was on the Yankees Reddit page. Someone posted this Nesson article where someone is retelling the story from Buster, MLB Insider. That's Buster. He's MLB Insider. Buster's been very nice to us. I like Buster a whole bunch. I still like Buster's work, and I like him as a guy, and he's been very kind to us over the years. He's upset with me. Now, I read this article, and basically this is the crux of it. Connor Wong is catching him, and for years, Aroldis Chapman's one of those guys who, when he's on the mound, the catcher is basically like, might as well just waved his hands, just throw your fastball, right? And he just throws it down the middle. Connor Wong is using PitchCom, and if you don't know what PitchCom is, it's a little device in their hat. The pitcher has a button on his knee. They press fastball, slider, and the pitcher hears it, okay? And he pushes the button that says inside fastball. And the light bulb goes off over Chapman's head. Ding, ding, ding. And he tells Connor Wong and Jason Varitek, wow, I've never thought about spotting my fastball. I just threw it to home plate. But this is the first time, like verbally, he hears inside fastball or outside fastball, and it's a whole thing, aim small, miss small. That's what Chapman has done this year. After hearing those words on PitchCom from Connor Wong, all of a sudden his whole perspective has changed. Now, I read that, and I read this. Wow, I've never thought about spotting my fastball. I just threw it to home plate. And I can't accept that. I don't think a major league pitcher who has played for 15, 17 years can go. I don't think a little league pitcher, I don't think a guy throwing wiffle balls in his backyard can play the game, pitch when he's trying to get batters out and not think, I'm going to throw a high fastball. I'm going to throw a low fastball. I'm going to throw an inside fastball. I'm going to throw this one up and in, that one low. Like, I just don't think you can play the sport and not think about that. I don't think Aroldis Chapman, until this year, had never thought about spotting his fastball. I'm not saying he didn't say that. I'm not saying that this wasn't said, and I'm not saying that it's not being reported in good faith. That's what they heard. I actually didn't say anything about the report. This is what happened. I read that. I was like, I read that right before we interviewed Aaron Boone on Talking Yanks. And I was like, well, Chapman was on the Yanks for a while. And that's just a bizarre thing. It's just a bizarre thing to have out there. So I asked Booney all about it. There's an article that Aroldis Chapman is having such a good season this year because the concept of locating his fastball. Now, watch Booney's eyes after I tell him the concept. Concept of locating his fastball finally arrived. He said that Connor Wong, what? Thinking what? Connor Wong hit the PitchCom button. It said inside fastball. And it was the first time Chapman thought, oh, I should aim it and not just throw it down the middle. Sly smile from Booney because he's hearing what I heard. And I am reporting exactly what I read in that article. Now, maybe that article did me dirty, but that they're quoting Buster. It's Nesson. And he said I didn't give Booney the context. I literally just kind of said the paragraph. Now, this is where I say a word that I shouldn't have said. And not just throw it down the middle. And I feel like that's a prank of an update from a guy who's played baseball his whole life and he's never. So I used the word prank, and I think that was great. It was very offensive to Buster because he said I made it seem like he's so naive that he got pranked and he can't detect bullshit from players. But I didn't even say Buster's name when I said this. I just said there's an article out there. And I said it sounds like a prank of an update or a prank of a quote. I kind of meant like a goof. Like it sounds like, remember Charlie Morton went to the Astros and they're like, what makes you throwing so much hard? And he was like, they just told me to throw harder. And the Yankees got Gio Urshela in 2019. He started hitting home runs. They're like, they just told me to swing harder. And it's like, all right, that can't be the full story, but I appreciate you on getting on with your day and not go into the minutia of it all. That's what it sounded. It sounded like a prank of an update, a goof of an update. Like that can't be real. I understand Buster saying I'm calling him naive. I am cynical as it gets. And I just, it can't be, it cannot be. So Boone talks for a while and kind of does word salad, nothing answer. And then at the end I say, come on, give me your thoughts. Never been told inside, outside on a fastball. Does that pass your sniff test?
Yeah, I think it's something that's just obviously Aroldis has had an amazing career. He's kept himself in such amazing shape which obviously is still manifesting itself in great stuff late into his career. I think it's kind of clicked for him. He's probably in a really good place. And you're seeing a guy that's got now a ton of experience and still physically has young man stuff that's in a really good rhythm and groove right now. And we've seen him in stretches like that, in a couple of the seasons, but his strike throwing has really allowed him to have the season he's having.
Do you think a pitcher could be a big league pitcher and never once have the thought, I should throw this fastball inside, outside?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. Probably not. You probably can't do that, right? So Buster, I guess, was really mad at me. I got sent a clip from a show.
Taylor Schwenk is working from ESPN today. I'm Buster Olney, working from my home in Montana. And I got to say, Taylor, I'm a little chapped today.
Oh? What ails you, Buster?
Something that Jomboy posted on social media. The first time I saw it was on Thursday morning. This was Jomboy. You remember last week when I told that story about Aroldis Chapman reacting to Connor Wong using the pitch com where he said inside fastball? And I basically said, this has been important for him. Well, Jomboy apparently had a problem with that story. Here's his conversation with Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager. Yeah, so and what's the caption on that, Taylor? You have it in front of you, what he has on that.
So he played the clip, and then he's upset about the caption.
So that was on Talking Yanks. Jomboy and Aaron Boone aren't buying that Aroldis Chapman never thought to locate his fastball before this season.
Okay, so that story was first told on Baseball Tonight before the game, before we had the Yankees and the Red Sox on Sunday Night Baseball. We talked a little bit about it during the Sunday night broadcast, and we talked about it on the podcast. And I just want to say, Jomboy suggesting it's a prank, what he's really saying is that because he doesn't know the background of this story, the Alex Cora, Jason Varitek, and Aroldis Chapman were in on this elaborate ruse in two languages to deceive Eduardo Perez and me, and that Eduardo and I are too naive to flush out a prank. That's what he's suggesting.
Now, that is a lot of things he's accusing me of. I don't know. I didn't do that, Buster. That's not what my intentions were. My intentions were I didn't believe a story. It was my own opinion, and I asked Boone if he believed it, and he also said probably not. But you're projecting a lot on me there that I didn't do. I like you, and I want to talk about war movies with you. And Buster's been very kind to us. Eduardo Perez, very, very kind this year when I met him at Sunday Night Baseball. David Cohn has been the man. Coney's awesome. And I like Buster. He came on our show early. He's very nice. Talk about Civil War stuff. Ken Burns, Revolutionary War, coming out this November, Buster. Love to chat with you about that. He's been so mad at me. And I decided that I should probably respond because it's been day 11 of him calling me out every day. And he brought Eduardo Perez onto the show and Coney, and he painted that picture. And I was like, wait, that's not really what I did. But also, there's this whole part of it too. I watched Aroldis Chapman pitch for a long time. I am obsessed, or I was obsessed, with watching the catcher's fingers and seeing the secret language of baseball. That used to be, all my breakdowns used to be about that. And then PitchCom came, and I hate PitchCom because it took away that whole entertainment factor of the game. PitchCom is a device made by a magician to tell secrets with his magician's assistant, and it breaks all the time. There's PitchCom delays, and as a viewer sitting on my couch, I loved when I was like, he shook off the fastball, he wants the curveball, I know something the batter doesn't know, I'm entertained, this is riveting stuff, and now it's taken away from us. Get out of PitchCom. I hate it. Anyway, I've done a ton of videos. So I thought, wait, I've done videos on Aroldis Chapman. It's day 11. I've been getting called out. I could probably find a time. Let me show you. I typed into YouTube, Jomboy Media, Chapman. It was one of the first videos that came up. And it's from 2019. And look what happens here. You won't believe it.
Again, not as big of a swing, but now Chappie's got him 0-2. So Romine says throw the outside fastball.
Romine is giving the outside fastball sign. Chapman says yes. And guess where he throws this pitch? It's a beaut. It's 0-2. Outside fastball. So he got the outside fastball sign. He threw it outside. Watch what happens next. Romine gives him the signal for an inside fastball. He shakes his head. No, I don't want to throw the inside fastball. Romine says, oh, so you must want to throw the slider. He shakes his head. No. Outside fastball. He says yes. So in that sequence that I just showed you, Aroldis Chapman got asked by his catcher, would you like to throw an inside fastball? Aroldis Chapman thought about it, thought about spotting his fastball inside, said no. Romine said outside fastball, and he said yes. So this quote that I'm responding to, wow, I've never thought about spotting my fastball. I just threw it to home plate. He did. Guess what? The guy who's pitched for 15 years did. Now, I'm only doing this because Buster called me out for 11 days, and I felt like he was trying to paint me as like a bad guy. I don't care. None of this matters. I'm not going to ask for an apology for 11 days, Buster, but like, come on. I think the report is actually that the PitchCom hearing it right by his ear helps him lock in more. Like, certain guys pitch better when they hear certain keywords. Like some coaches work for some people, not other, because they speak the same language. They connect with the brain. And having probably a robot voice inside Chapman's hat, inside fastball, probably makes him feel like Terminator, and he like locates it better than seeing the fingers and then telling himself. He probably struggles with internal monologue, if I was to guess. And that's probably the very cool story of it. And that could be very true, that PitchCom helps him locate. PitchCom has been around for years. This year's way better. Maybe the other teams didn't do inside fastball, outside fastball. I don't believe that, but maybe. I've seen the PitchComs. They have all different locations on there. But this quote, I've never thought about spotting my fastball. I just threw it to home plate. It's just not possible. Like, I could be a kid throwing laundry detergent into my washing machine, and I'm going to think, do I want to throw this inside, outside, high, low? You know what I mean? Like, it's just part of the game if you're a pitcher. So I was not trying to call out anybody or say they got duped, because I believe Aroldis Chapman said that. But right here in this video, later on in the at-bat, Romine says inside fastball, and Chapman says no. And then Romine says outside fastball, and he says no. So in that sequence that I just showed you, he thought about spotting his fastball inside, and he thought about spotting his fastball outside, and he said, I don't want to spot my fastball. I want to throw the slider. And that guy said, this is going to be good. And that is everything. Now, what do you do with this info? Nothing. Nothing. I don't know. Just day 11. Day 11 of Buster being mad at me. I love Buster. I don't want Buster being mad at me. I don't want Eduardo Perez thinking I'm calling him out publicly. Come on. That's crazy. As crazy as a pitcher never thinking about spotting his fastball. Court dismissed.